Gautama Buddha used to say, "Suffering is not outside, sorrow is in your mind. Until the mind wakes up, life will not begin." There are millions of people in today's world, but human beings are lonely. The person standing in the crowd is the loneliest because he has broken up with himself. He has made his mind a machine. As soon as you wake up in the morning, the mobile breath is going on even while sleeping at night, but consciousness is sleeping. And this is what the Buddha used to say, because a sleeping person cannot live, he just passes the time. Why are people today unhappy? It is very important to understand this, because unless you understand the root of the disease, there will be no cure. Today there is money, facilities, technology, but there is no peace. Today the houses are big, the hearts are small. Today the connection is fast, but the heart network is broken. Social media has created a disease of comparison. If someone goes ahead, there is jealousy. If someone is left behind, then arrogance. Both eat the mind. That's what psychology says too. According to modern psychology, man's worst enemy is his own mind when he runs without control. Neuroscientists say that every day about 60,000 thoughts come to the mind of a person, and most of them are negative. This negative lobe breaks a person from the inside. The Buddha understood this long ago. He said, "You become what you think. The mind is everything." It's not a motivational line, it's the science of life. When the mind is sad, the body gets tired. When the mind is in fear, the future begins to look dark. When the mind is trapped in the past, the present dies. And this is the reason why today's person is either living in the pain of tomorrow or dying in fear of tomorrow. Someone cheated, someone broke a relationship, a dream remained unfulfilled. All these memories keep pricking in the mind like a thorn. The Buddha used to say, "Don't make what has passed a burden. Make him learn." But what do? We take the pain to the chest. We recognize our wounds. We say, "This happened to me. This happened to me," and get stuck in this story and spend their whole life. Psychology calls this the victim mindset. When a person considers himself a victim, he forgets his strength. The Buddha teaches just the opposite. They say, "You are not weak, you are not aware." The difference is huge. A weak person asks for help. The conscious person changes himself. Now comes the question, what does it mean to start a new life? Should I wear new clothes? Moving to a new city, not a new job? According to Mercury, new life does not start outside. New life begins inside. New life means new vision, new thinking, new consciousness, courage to give up old habits. Because as long as you are stuck in old patterns, the new life will just be a dream. Psychology also says that 90% of a person's life is run by habits. How you wake up in the morning, how you think, how you react. This is what makes your future. The Buddha used to say, "Habits make character, and character is luck." So if you want to start a new life from today, the first thing to do is to cleanse the mind. Just like you sweep the house, in the same way, the dust accumulated in the mind has to be removed. Old anger, old grievances, old regrets. It's all mental garbage. Peace won't come in until it goes out. Buddha considered the ego to be the biggest root. Ego means false identity. I'm right, the rest are wrong. Why does this happen to me? I am most saddened. It's all ego games. Ego sets you apart from others. Peace goes away from you. Scientists also say that people with high ego live in more stress because they have to prove themselves all the time. The Buddha says the opposite. When you stop proving yourself, you will find yourself. This is the new life. Connecting with yourself, feeling your breath, seeing your thoughts, but not being a slave to them. The Buddha's most powerful teaching is to live in the present. He used to say that yesterday is gone, tomorrow will come, there is only now. But we ruin the present. Mobile while eating, thinking while walking, comparison while talking. The mind is not here. Psychology calls this mind wandering. Research shows that people who live in the present are happier. The Buddha called it meditation. meditation. Meditation does not mean closing the eyes. Meditation means being aware. When you breathe and know that you are breathing, this meditation does not give life a chance again. But if you wake up today, believe me, this day can be the biggest turning point in your life. And if you wake up today, this day can become the biggest turning point in your life. But now the question is how to wake up, because it's easy to talk about waking up, but hard to reach awakening. This is where Gautam Buddha's The Buddha explained life in a straightforward language.
He said that man is unhappy not because he has less, but because he wants more.
The real cause of suffering is not outside. The seat of sorrow is inside. Desire, craving, attachment. When a person is holding on to something, when he says, I want it, this person is mine, this success is my identity, then he chains himself, and then the same chain gradually becomes a pain. That's what psychology says too. Modern research shows that the more a person associates his happiness with external things, the more he goes towards anxiety and depression. Because things outside are not permanent. People change, circumstances change, the body changes, but we hold them and sit down. Buddha explained this by giving the example of a river. He said that life is a flowing river. If you try to close the water in a fist, the hand will be left empty. But if you learn to go with the flow, you will find peace. This is the philosophy of life, learning to leave. It's sad to hold on. Letting go is liberation. Buddha described the power of the present as the greatest weapon. He said that the past is a memory, the future is a fantasy, but the present is a reality. Humans waste their whole life on two things that don't exist. He either keeps repeating the pain of the past or trembles with fear of tomorrow and dies today. Psychology calls it the time-traveling mind, frequent wandering of the mind. Research shows that when a person is in the present, the chemicals associated with happiness are more active in their brain, and the Buddha said this thousands of years ago. He said, whoever conquers this moment conquers life. Living in the present does not mean giving up responsibilities. To live in the present means to do what you are doing with full consciousness. Eating while eating, walking while walking, listening while listening. Don't put half your mind elsewhere. When the mind is fixed in one place, peace arises. And this is where the power of awareness begins. Awareness. The entire path of Buddha rests on this one word: be aware. Seeing your thoughts, but not drowning in them. Feeling your emotions, but not being a slave to them. Just as one sits by a river and watches the water flow, so to look at the thoughts of one's mind. When you learn to do this, you realize that the mind is not you. The mind is a tool, and life deteriorates when the tool becomes the owner. But when a person becomes a master and the mind is his servant, then life changes. Neuroscience also says that when a person learns to observe his thoughts, the stress circuits of the brain begin to weaken and the parts associated with peace begin to become stronger. The Buddha called it vipassana, seeing oneself, understanding oneself. Buddha also gave great importance to silence. Today's world is full of noise, the sound of the mobile, the talk of the people, the noise of the brain. But the real noise isn't outside. The real noise is inside. The noise of thoughts, the noise of comparison, the noise of anxiety. The Buddha used to say that even when you are silent outside, if there is no peace inside, you are still a prisoner. Silence does not mean to stop speaking. Silence means to calm the mind. Sit with yourself for a few minutes every day, just feeling the breath without doing anything. Psychologist, daily silence makes a person emotionally strong. This is where the new life begins to take shape. Now, if you really want to start a new life, the first rule is very strict. But the most important thing is to learn to let go of the past. Because as long as you hold on to the past, the future will not come to you. People say, I can't forget. The truth is that you don't want to forget, because pain also becomes a habit. Man identifies with his wounds. But the Buddha used to say that the wound can be your history. You don't have an identity. Sorry doesn't necessarily mean the other person is right. Forgiveness is necessary so that you can be free. Psychology also says that people who learn to forgive have less anger and stress. Their hearts
become lighter. Forgiveness does not mean being weak. To forgive is to break the chains of your mind. One of the biggest disadvantages of being stuck in the past is that you can't make today's decisions. The old fear comes to the fore before every new step is taken. It happened before, then it happened, and the whole life goes by in this fear. The Buddha used to say that the man who wins every day with old fear dies every day. If you want a new life, learn from the old pain, but don't let it be a burden. Make that experience. Make him wise. Unload emotional baggage. The burden of the mind also makes the body sick. Scientists also say that suppressed anger and chronic sadness weaken the body's immunity. So leave today. This is the first step to a new beginning. The second law is even deeper. Learn to live in the present. The moment right now is the most powerful because it's where you can change something.
Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come, but it's still in your hands, and we waste this right now on the screen of the mobile. Phone while eating, phone while walking, phone while sleeping. Mind somewhere else, body somewhere else. Buddha used to say that when the body and mind are not in one place, then life is halfway. The easiest way to connect with yourself is through breathing. The breath is always in the present. When you feel your breath, you automatically come to this moment. Psychology calls this the anchor technique. Anchor the breath and bring the mind back. Take a few deep breaths every day. Feel the air going in, coming out. That's all. This is the beginning of mindfulness. Gradually, the mind begins to calm down, the focus begins to increase, and a stillness is created inside. Present is power. He who learns to live in the moment lives life. Now the third rule is the most important one. Learn to train the mind, because without training, the mind becomes the biggest enemy. The mind shows you fear, teaches laziness, gives you excuses. The mind says that we will do it tomorrow. We are not in the mood today. Leave it, and the man agrees. The Buddha used to say that he who conquers the mind conquers the world. Psychology also says that the structure of the brain changes with discipline and mental training. This is called neuroplasticity. Even 10 minutes of daily practice can create new wiring in the brain. Sit with yourself for some time every day. Look at your thoughts. Don't fight negative thoughts when they come. Just let them go. It's like clouds come and go in the sky. Gradually, you will realize that you are not an idea. You are the ones who see the ideas. This is the meaning of thought control technique at all moments. Just a revolution of consciousness without weapons, without noise. And that's the way the new life really begins. And that's the way the new life really begins. But it's not just about understanding. Now the point is to change. Because if knowledge does not come down into habits, then it remains just a word. Gautam Buddha used to say that life does not change by precepts, life is changed by practice. He said, what you do every day is what you become. So if you want to change your future, you have to change your daily routine. The whole day goes on in the same condition in which you wake up in the morning. If you wake up in the morning, the day is also scattered. If the complaint starts as soon as the eyes open in the morning, then the whole day becomes heavy. Buddha considered the morning to be sacred. He used to say that the first thought in the morning determines the direction of the whole day. That's what psychology says too. According to neuroscience, the morning is the most sensitive time for the brain. The input that goes into that time is what sets the mood for the whole day. So, if you say to yourself in the morning, I'll be aware today, I'll be quiet today, so your brain starts working in that direction. This is why small morning rituals make big differences. Night habits are equally important, because the thought with which you sleep goes to the subconscious mind. The Buddha used to say to clear the mind before sleeping. It's like taking off your shoes before going to a temple. If you sleep with anger, fear, and anxiety before sleeping, then the same fall will gradually settle inside. Psychology also explains that the mental state before bedtime
affects both dreams and the subconscious mind. The mind makes what is shown to it over and over again. So, if you want to change your life, learn to use a screen. Don't be a slave to the screen. Sit away from your mobile for a while. Listen to your own voice. It will be scary in the beginning. There will be emptiness. But in that emptiness, the real you sits. That's where the soul speaks. Self-discipline was a strong pillar of Buddha's teachings. He said that life is not run by external rules, but by internal rules. Self-discipline does not mean oppressing oneself. Self-discipline means love for oneself. When you say to yourself, I won't be lazy today, if I take a step towards my goal today, you are honoring yourself. Psychology also says that people who have self-control are more successful and calm in the long run, because he chooses long-term peace over immediate happiness. This is what the Buddha taught. Give up momentary pleasures and find lasting peace. Never underestimate the power of small changes. Life doesn't change in one day, but a little change every day changes life. One more glass of water, 1-page book, 5 minutes of meditation, one less negative habit. All these together make a mountain. Psychology calls this the compound effect. The Buddha called it the law of karma. Every little deed is a seed. What you sow today, you will reap tomorrow. Sow good seeds every day. These habits will gradually become your identity. And now, learn to love yourself, the deepest thing.
Because as long as you think you are weak, the world will think you are weak. The Buddha used to say that you are your greatest friend and also your worst enemy. Cursing yourself, belittling yourself, hating yourself. It's all poison inside. Psychology also says that low self-esteem breaks a person from the inside. Such people always seek the validation of others. But the Buddha used to say that the one who has got his own approval does not need the world. Self-esteem doesn't come from outside. Self-esteem is born from within. When you keep your promises, when you live by your values, then self-esteem is built. Loving yourself doesn't mean you have to make mistakes right. Loving oneself means taking responsibility for improving oneself, recognizing the power within yourself. The Buddha used to say that you are the one who can wake up. You have the same consciousness, the same strength, the same peace that you are looking for outside. Comparison is the most dangerous trap in this world. Social media has intensified it. If someone is ahead, then sorrow. If someone is behind, then arrogance, both of which weaken the soul. The Buddha used to say that every person's journey is different. Psychology also says that comparisons never allow a person to be satisfied. So honor your journey. Accept your speed. Love your story. When you know your value, you don't need anyone's approval. And when love for oneself awakens, a fire burns inside. The fire that gives you the strength to wake up every morning. The fire that gives you the courage to stand up after defeat. The fire that says, I can fall but can't break. Buddha used to call this fire consciousness, conscious life, conscious life. This is the real new life, and this is where the most beautiful journey of life begins. But every journey is connected to a story. That's why now, the same question kept revolving around while sleeping at night. Why am I like this? Psychology calls this learn happiness. When a person feels defeated again and again, he stops trying. That was his condition. But one day, something changed. No miracle happened. There was no sudden money. Just one thing resonated inside him. If I don't change myself, no one will. That was the moment where his life took a turn. He was the first to stop blaming himself. She began to look into her past, but to learn not to cry. He learned to forgive. He began to write down what was on his mind. Every morning, I began to sit quietly for a few minutes. In the beginning, the mind was racing. The body was restless, but he didn't give up. The Buddha used to say that the one who has patience has won half the victory. Gradually, he reduced the mobile. I started sleeping early at night. I tried to get up early in the morning. They were small steps, but persistent. And psychology says that constantly small changes make way for new habits in the brain. Within a few months, his thinking began to change. At first, he said, I couldn't. Now I say,
I can learn. At first, he ran away from fear. Now I understood the fear. That was his turning point, the place where the old life ended and the new life began. And today, that person is not perfect, but calm, not rich, but strong, not famous, but aware. And that's the real victory. That's the message of hope. If he can change, you can change too. Now, let's talk about the biggest wall that stops man. Fear is not the root of fear. Fear has its roots inside. Fear is actually a fantasy of the future. The Buddha used to say, "Don't be afraid of what is now. You are afraid of what is not there." Psychology also says that fear is a defense system of the mind, but when it becomes overly active, it makes a person a prisoner. So don't fight fear. Fear has to be understood. When you're scared, ask yourself, what is really in danger right now? Most of the time, the answer will be nothing. It's just a story of the mind. Overthinking is also the name of this mental illness. Thinking the same thing over and over again, playing the same scene, repeating the same fear. The Buddha used to say, give the mind two tasks, either be aware or keep wandering. Psychology says that when a person is completely immersed in a task, then overthinking automatically decreases. Therefore, when the mind thinks too much, then move the body. Go for a walk. Take a deep breath. Write something. Make something. Action calms the mind. This is the reason why Buddha gave great importance to karma. The right action gives the right direction to the mind. Laziness is also a big enemy. Laziness does not mean fatigue. Laziness means opposition to the mind. The mind is afraid of change, so it says it will do it tomorrow. The Buddha used to say that tomorrow is a deception. Psychology also says that a person is most procrastinating in those things that can change his life. So learn to push yourself a little, not too much.
It's just that you are a little better today than you are tomorrow. That's the real discipline. Now, if you really want to start a new life, there is a simple but powerful way. Don't think of the 7-day life-changing practice as a miracle. Think of it as practice. Clear your mind on the first day. Write down old anger, complaints, pains on paper and leave them in your mind. Practice silence the next day. For some time, just sit with yourself without mobile, without noise. Learn gratitude on the third day. Focus on what's good in your life. Psychology says that greatness activates the happy part of the brain. Buddha also used to say to find peace in what you have. Talk to yourself on the fourth day, just like you would do with a friend. Don't let yourself down. Explain yourself. Practice discipline on the fifth day. Do what is necessary, even if you don't want to. Learn to focus on the sixth day. Take action on the seventh day with full consciousness. Take any step that you were avoiding today. It may be small, but true. And when these 7 days are over, then perhaps the outside world will remain the same, but inside you will not be there. Something will have changed inside. A new energy, a new clarity, a new fire, the Buddha used to say. One lamp lights the other lamp. When you change, your light reaches others. Now, in this moment, when you are listening to this, ask your heart a question. Do you really want to be the same person you were yesterday? Or do you want to start a new life today? The decision is yours. No guru, no video, no book can change you unless you want to be yourself. But when you want to, the whole universe starts moving with you. And that's where that last twist begins, where man really sees himself for the first time. There is no applause here. There is no noise. No one comes from outside and picks you up. There's only one voice within you. And if you calm down for a little while right now, maybe you'll be able to hear that voice. The voice that says, you are not broken. You're just sleeping. The world has not weakened you. Who gives up fighting? Psychology also says that the real power of a person lies not in his circumstances, but in his decisions. The day a person decides that he will change now, new paths begin to form in the mind. Neuroscience calls this brain rewiring. Buddha used to call it awakening. He used to say that a person who wakes up makes his way even in the dark.
Now, put your hand on your heart and tell yourself that I am not weak, I'm not broken, I was just asleep and today I'm awake. This is the moment where the fire inside burns. This fire is not of anger. This fire is not for revenge. It's the fire of self-respect. This is the fire of consciousness. It's the fire to be the person you want to be from the inside. Buddha used to say that faith in oneself is the greatest penance. When you start believing in yourself, your gait changes, your gaze changes, your energy changes. People don't change, you change. And when you change, the behavior of the world automatically changes. It's time to make a decision from today, not tomorrow, not Monday, not next month, from now, from this moment. I decided that I would no longer put my life in the hands of anyone else. Now I will take responsibility for my own happiness. I will no longer be a slave to my mind. I'm going to be his boss. The Buddha used to say that authority over oneself is the greatest empire. You don't have to beat anyone. You just have to win yourself, your habits, your fears, your laziness. And when you make that decision, there are no fireworks outside, but there is a weakness inside. The heart becomes a little heavy. The eyes become slightly moist. The breath gets a little deeper. That's the emotional peak. This is where the human leaves the old and becomes the new. Just as a snake leaves a cancel, you leave your old identity. The Buddha called it rebirth, not of the body, but of the rebirth of consciousness. Today, you are not born with your old name, but with your new consciousness. Promise yourself now, not in front of the camera, not in front of the world, in front of your heart. Promise that I will not take my life for granted. I'm going to try to be a little better every day. I will fall, but I will rise. I will be tired, but I will not stop. I will feel lonely, but I will not give up on myself. This is the new life. That's the real beginning. And now that you have reached here, when you've heard this whole journey, understand that you have not come to this channel just to watch the video. You're on a journey where we will walk together. This channel was not made for entertainment. This channel is made for awareness. This channel was not created to make you feel good for a few minutes and then become the same old person. This channel is made so that after every video, you change a little, become a little stronger, become a little awarer.
We are not gurus and disciples here. Here we are family. A family that lifts each other up to remind each other that we are not weak. When you like this channel, you don't just press a button. You give strength to this mission. When you subscribe, you don't just take notifications. You make a promise to yourself that I will not walk alone in the journey of making my life better. And if you really want to be a part of this journey, then join this family right now.